Hello from Michigan Alliance for Families. During these changing times, we continue to support the needs of families who have children and youth who receive special education or early intervention services. Today, we are looking at participating in a virtual IEP meeting. Our presenter is Cheryl Levine from Special Education Mediation Services. Hi, Cheryl.
Good morning. Special Education Mediation Services is another of the grant-funded initiatives through the Department of Education Office of Special Education in Michigan. We provide no-cost trainings, meeting facilitation, and mediation for special education in Michigan. Services are extended during this time to all virtual meetings and mediations. Generally, some things are different though. Virtual, it may be our new normal. That phrase extends to a lot of different things, but what the industry is saying now is that virtual meetings may extend even past when face-to-face resumes. These platforms allow for greater flexibility for participation to accommodate busy schedules. The IDEA has supported alternative means of meeting participation, such as video conferences and conference calls, for many years. What everyone does need to remember, though, is all the legal requirements that are in IDEA and MARS, Michigan Administrative Rules for Special Education, remain intact and must be enforced. That includes mandated participants and the appropriate proper refusal or excusals from the meeting participation. How compliance is attained may look different in a virtual world, however. Some extra concerns when we're talking about a virtual meeting are heightened confidentiality concerns, which include people walking in and out of a room, someone in a room that's off camera, recording without permission. Some people are uncomfortable because they compare it to social media and the anonymity and ability to speak on social media that's a little different than in a face-to-face meeting. We also have more concerns around technology. We have people that are not comfortable with technology, that may not have the same technology, might not have access to the internet or high-speed connections. So we have an imbalance sometimes in technology. And it's also very easy to get distracted when we're working from home. Many things are going on. You might be looking out a window. You might have people in another room. So it's a little bit different than in a face-to-face meeting when you're in a room with a closed door. So these are things that all participants need to be concerned about when we're talking in a virtual world. Before the meeting, it's recommended that everyone obtain the paperwork for the meeting in advance. This allows you to refer to it during the meeting as well as review it. FERPA, the Privacy Act, and electronic document laws allow for virtual signature on educational documents. So the sign-in for the IEP may be circulated in advance via DocuSign or Adobe Sign. It might also come after the meeting. Sometimes those emails go to your spam or junk. So you should, if you have been told to expect a document before the meeting, always check to make sure that it's not in your junk mail. And if you don't have it, check with your meeting organizer to get it. List all of the questions and concerns that you have after you review the document. Include questions about signatures and how to contact someone if you have questions. They may be giving out cell phone numbers now if they're not in an office. If you aren't familiar with the technology, let the organizer know about that in advance. You should have a backup plan or a call-in number if you're using a virtual platform. And if you don't have that information in advance, again, check with your meeting organizer. Test your technology ahead of the meeting. If there's problems, and contact someone that is familiar with the technology. In video meetings like Zoom, Skype, or Google Meet, that's the most comprehensive virtual meeting platforms available. Sometimes a phone conference is the only way to get everyone to be able to participate, however. If you're using a virtual platform, you may have to download the app. Usually that's just a one-click function, though. You'll be provided a link and you just click on it. It's important to make sure your phone or computer or tablet is plugged in or charged before the meeting. Set aside a space that's free from distractions that can be confidential and quiet. Make sure to close all your other browsers and documents on your computer. That way, if you do have to share something, you're not sharing a personal screen by mistake or having to look through multiple screens to find the one that you want to share. You should only have the documents that are applicable to the meeting they're participating in open on your computer. Background noise can be distracting and should be minimized. Even phone vibrations on a table can be heard by other participants. So refrain from eating or shuffling papers or moving things around as much as possible. If you need any accessibility accommodations, such as an interpreter, please let the meeting organizer know in advance. Some things can't be arranged without proper lead time. Just run through a few items as a checklist. In your lighting, make sure it's well positioned. The most flattering light is generally at your face level and not from the side. Make sure it's not too hard, not too soft, and so bright that it causes glare, or so soft that it causes shadows, or to create a sense of darkness, like you're talking from a cave. If you can, make sure your background is professional in appearance, or at least not distracting in appearance. And your clothing should be the same kind you would wear to the meeting. It includes clothing that's not visible to parties when you're seated. You might have to stand up at some point during the meeting. It is suggested you refrain from busy colors and patterns because they're distracting on other people's eyes. And if you do wear eyeglasses, if you can wear non-reflecting ones or angle them slightly, that reduces the interference with eye contact through a computer screen. You should be positioned so your body is centered in the screen and your eyes are about a third of the way from the top of the screen. Usually your shoulders and torso or upper body should show from the waist up. Not too close to the screen and not too far, or your face will seem enormous, or if you seem too far away, it'll appear that you're disengaged from the meeting. Your camera should be positioned away from direct sunlight, and you should look comfortable and relaxed, but not lounging in a chair. So you should maintain an upright posture, but be in a posture that you can sit in for the entire meeting. You should watch the other participants, try not to stare at any one part in the screen, and maintain appropriate eye contact, just as you would in a face-to-face meeting. You might have to look down at documents or look away at something, and that's totally acceptable. Sometimes bandwidth interferes with movement, so if you move quickly or in a jerky fashion, it might look blurry on other people's screens. So we do suggest that your movements be calm and slower than normal. And remember, you can be seen and heard. So we caution against the side activities, just as you would limit yourself in an in-person meeting, eating, chewing gum loudly, and rustling papers, playing with your cell phone. Even though it feels like you're away from the other people, they can still hear and see you. In general, meeting etiquette for virtual meetings is the same as in face-to-face meetings. You'll take turns speaking, be asked not to interrupt each other, and remember that your nonverbal communication does impact others' perception of what you say. Everyone should abide by the meeting guidelines of respecting each other and staying on task. You should plan to stay on the call for the entire time. If you have to step away, let the other participants know so the meeting can be put on hold. The meeting host usually has the ability to mute and/or turn off the video for all participants. Otherwise, if they have not done that, you will be able to toggle the microphone and video camera icons on your screen. It's best to stay on mute until it's your turn to talk. On phone conferences, there will be a method to mute and unmute that will be shared with you in advance. When you try to speak, refrain from looking at yourself in the corner of the screen and try to look up at your camera. That will appear to the other participants that you're looking at them. Most virtual platforms have a hand raising or a question button. You should use this when you have a question to ask rather than interrupting or speaking over someone. If you are on a phone conference, it's best to introduce yourself every time you speak. This is Cheryl, and then say what you're going to say or ask your question. This ensures that all the participants know who is talking. There's also a chat function that you can type in your questions or comments. Depending on the arrangement of the meeting platform, these comments may be viewed by the entire group, and also, even if you think they're private chats, they may be recorded. And during the meeting, if something happens that is outside the confidentiality agreement that was established, make sure everyone knows about it. This might be someone walking into a room or someone that is now able to overhear the conversation. You should always make sure everyone knows when the potential for going outside your confidentiality agreement has happened. Before you end the meeting or leave the meeting, make sure you know how the paperwork is going to be distributed and when you should expect it. If you have any remaining questions, ask them now or get the contact person's phone or email if something might occur to you later. If you have any disagreements about any part of the meeting, all of your procedural safeguards for dispute resolution are available. In addition to mediation, state complaint, and due process complaints, the Office of Special Education supports facilitated meetings to help support the collaborative communication around special education issues. Thank you for your time. This was presented by Special Education Mediation Services. If you have any information about or any questions about information in this, feel free to contact me at the phone number or email below. If you have general questions about our program, our contact information is on this slide.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. You can find the information and resources gathered by Michigan Alliance for Families related to the pandemic on our website at michiganallianceforfamilies.org/COVID-19. While no in-person events are scheduled during this time, many of our workshop topics are available as free on-demand webinars on our YouTube channel. As more guidance and resources come out, we will be offering additional webinars and videos and a chance for you to ask your questions. Sign up for our e-newsletter to receive notifications. And our parent mentors are still here. No matter where you are across the state, you have access to a Michigan Alliance for Families parent mentor who is available to help find answers to your special education questions. Remember to keep up with Michigan Alliance for Families with our website, our monthly e-newsletter, and on Facebook and Twitter. You can contact us at info@michiganallianceforfamilies.org or call 1-800-552-4821. Michigan Alliance for Families is an IDEA grant-funded initiative of the Michigan Department of Education, Office of Special Education, and Michigan's Federal Parent Training and Information Center. Thank you and stay safe.